I think y'all know me well enough now after 5 years to know that the scoreboard a lot of times doesn't tell the story of the day. I'm not going to have my head down. We're not going to make any excuses. Tennessee, unbelievable tonight. Their crowd was amazing. They made every big play. We'd get a stop. The ball would kick around. They'd come up with it and make a big play. But we had an unbelievable day. We got to visit the Hall of Fame. We got to see Chelsea and Alexis Tolfree's jersey hanging up in there. We got to have breakfast and lunch and watch film in the room where the SEC was formed back in the day at the hotel that we stayed at. Just a historic day to see all the history that surrounds. And this is a Tennessee team that's like the Tennessee team of old. They're back. Okay. And we've been talking about all year, but they are back. They are physical. They make you pay for every mistake that you make. They are tenacious on the boards. That wears on you, and it just got to our legs. And then, but the way our team overcome adversity with, starting with just being at Tennessee, the adversity of losing Michaela early to the shoulder and then early to the knee, or even a little bit later to the knee, and every single person just doing a little bit more than they've been asked to do throughout the year, just to give us a chance. There will be a lot of individuals beating themselves up. I know, because I know how much of a pleaser of a team we have. They'll beat themselves up, but there will be no teammates, coaches, anybody beating anybody else up other than ourselves. Because I am really proud. I think they are proud. I think they know how much improvement we made in the 2 times between when we played them. And if y'all got any questions after that, I'll take them.
All right, let me know if you've got questions in the chat or raise your hand. Paul, you want to get us going?
Yeah, I'll get. Hey, Mike, you said about how they kind of wear on you. You appeared to do a tremendous job of keeping Key kind of out of their offense. But I mean, was it a kind of a war of attrition in the?
It was, and it was a matter of time. She made her presence on the defensive end even when she wasn't scoring. But we had to spend so much energy to keep it from going in there. We probably gave up a couple of too many threes. But yeah, no, she can still dominate the game without. She still has 14-7, but we wanted to make sure it was a different way. I thought from the first game to the second game, our technique was a lot better on them. We forced them into more first shot misses than we did the last time. We just didn't rebound it enough. We rebounded hard, but we needed 2 or 3 more, or we needed to make 1 or 2 more threes again. So, but Key was big. I thought Ray Burrell being back, she didn't play a lot the first time we played them. She obviously makes a tremendous difference in how you're going to defend them. And then I just thought they had several kids that made clutch plays. When the ball would squirt out, it'd find somebody and they'd knock shot down. But I thought for overall, we did a good job with the game plan, and especially on Key, and really did a great job on Alexis Dye. She really hurt us that first game. Sasha took that really personally. And I thought we did a really good job of taking her out of the game this time.
And I'll just follow with, without Michaela in the second half at all, did it just have to be a team game from there?
Yeah. And I told Sam, I said, you're going to have to go the whole way. Maybe we can get you out around the media timeout and let Amber run the point for a time or two. She never flinched. She never wavered. And I would, not that she's not already grown up, but man, after doing that in Thompson Bowling Arena, there's not an environment that I can take her into that's going to be harder than what she had tonight. You look down, she played 43, Amber played 43, Riley plays 33, Sasha in foul trouble. Alana gave us really good minutes off the bench tonight, as did Aaron. That's the most minutes Aaron's been able to play since coming back. So lots of positives. We'll hope for the best with Michaela. The doctors here, we can't tell until we have it looked at when we get back home and trust our doctors. But the doctors here obviously said it was not a great idea for her to try to play. She obviously wanted to, but it wasn't a great idea to try to play. So we'll get back and I'll get y'all a report on her tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike. I'll let somebody else.
Christina.
Coach, what did you see on that 10-2 run that they put together in the third quarter? And then how are you guys kind of able to manage that?
We were gassed. I was thinking about taking a couple of timeouts there. We were just out of gas, and they got out in transition. I also think it led to us taking a couple of quick shots, which allowed them to get out in transition a little bit, kind of got us a little bit out of our rhythm in our get back plan. But that 10-2 run was the difference. I probably should have taken a timeout. That's where I'll go back and beat myself up. And maybe we should have rested a little bit more someplace along the way, because that to me was a sign of fatigue and them being a little bit fresher. And they're so lethal. We were doing a really good job in the half court defense, but they really made us pay in transition every time that we made a mistake.
And then we talked about Sam and how confident she is the other day. And then obviously, you know, to see her miss those free throws at the end, how will she kind of recover from that? And how do you kind of help her?
Well, I went to her immediately. You know, when it happened, she had her head down. I said, listen, we're not even in this position if you haven't stepped up and played, and there's no chance you're going to make. So hard to make those. So I know what she'll do. She'll focus a little bit harder in practice. She's been having a little slump there, and we'll coach her through it. She's a good free throw shooter. She'll start to make them. But, you know, I would suspect that as a junior and a senior, when we look back and we're giving the ball to her to get fouled, we'll think back to these nights and know that it's Thompson Bowling Arena. I don't know if it was 7,000, it's the loudest 7,000 people I've ever heard in my life. And it was hard. She was gassed. They were important. They were crucial, all those things. So I know it'll only build her up. Y'all been around her enough to know that there's nothing going to happen that's going to get her down. And her teammates were great. Her teammates were picking her up, and that's why I'm saying any toughness tonight will just be self-inflicted, because there's nobody in that locker room the teammates were unbelievably good tonight.
Jacob?
Mike, going into this one, we talked about second half fouls, and then all of a sudden you look up in the third quarter and Riley, Jersey, Sasha all have 3. Do you think that affected them on the defensive end, just trying not to pick up those last couple fouls?
Without a doubt. I thought in the first half I thought we did the same thing we did. They became fouls in the second half. So we'll have to continue to improve our technique. We'll go back and I'll get on the phone and I'll get more help. But it completely changed from the first half to the second half, and we never adjusted. We got them in the bonus too quick, and it got, you know, the 3 of them, I looked down, all of them had it. So we had to play a couple of lineups there early that we had not played together. But then we just went back to playing 2 of them together and hoping that they never fouled out, and they never did. But obviously there's some room for improvement. We can't continue to foul 20 times in a game. That's just not us. We're not going to survive with that. So we'll work on technique. I do think the work that we did the last time, it helped us against LSU. It helped us against Missouri. It helped us against Mississippi State. So hopefully having another hockey game type physicality hockey game will help us at Texas A&M on Thursday.
And then, I mean, Amber's good every night, but when you play a top 10, a top 15 team, it seems like her game just comes to a different level. Just what did you see out of her tonight, putting up another season high? Just
what we've seen from her since the day I started watching her when she was 14, playing for Ray Caldwell down in the San Antonio Finest. The bigger the game, the more Amber was there. That's just who she is. And I think this year what she's been doing, because she's doing it now against the other team's best defensive player. Maybe in the past that kid was guarding. We walked through the locker room. We walked through the Hall of Fame today, and Chelsea's jersey is in there and Tolfrey's jersey's in there. Those 2 kids, she was playing alongside those guys. So a lot of times she'd get the 3rd best defensive player. Now a lot of nights, not only is she getting their best on ball, she's getting the help off. Anytime we screen, that person's helping. And if she does drive it, there's an early gap, there's a lot of switching going on for that. But for her to have 29 and 8, 2 assists, only 1 turnover against them, I mean, she's really putting together to me, an easy first team all conference type of year against the best of the best. So, but she would trade every bit of it for the win. That's just who she is. Y'all all know that. So with all that being said, we need it out of her, especially now if we're going to be without Mac for a little bit of time. And I know that we can get it from her.
Quarter.
Coach, I just want to talk about the toughness. You let the 10-2 run, let the lead slip away, but they hung tough.
Yeah.
Winning overtime and still had a chance to win or go into another double overtime. So just talk about the toughness on the road in an environment like that. How was it important? Was it for them to keep their poise to really keep that game and almost go into double overtime?
We have all those things. We are tough, just not as tough as they are yet. That's okay. We've got some toughness about us, and we've got some whatever other grit. And I know that's another cliche word, but we've got it. And I think we don't get down. That there was the talk is so positive with this team and corrective. They can correct each other and stay positive. You can disagree with them and not get disagreeable. And to me, that for a young team, that's rare. So I'm glad we have it. I think it starts, with the way that we coach them every day and the way they talk to each other. We have a rule that when we get on that bus, you shouldn't be able to tell whether we won or lost by the way you take those first 3 steps, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there and greet them as they come on. Cause I'm really, really as proud of them as the time we won down here a few years ago. I promise you I am. I'm not disappointed. I'm not down. I'm encouraged that we can go back and continue to improve, and it'll help us win a game someplace down the line.
And going to the SEC tournament, games like tonight where they're gassed, but they don't give up. They go into overtime, double overtime. How big is the games like this going to prepare them for 3 games, possibly 3 games in 3 days?
If we can get to that point, good. We're at that stage now with February turn, and our January was incredibly tough. Paul, we looked at that, at Feltner's that day. And when that schedule came out, we were like, look at January. Okay. And what are we, 4-4? What did I tell you that day, Paul? I'd probably take it.
Exactly.
Probably would take that. Judging by who we had and where we had to play and all that stuff, 4-4 in this league in this particular year. Like I said, I'm happy with where we're at.
All right, let me know if you got more questions. Jordan?
Coach, going back to kind of what Jacob asked about Amber, they said on the broadcast that she went to you and said, this is my team. I want to take on kind of a bigger role. And obviously she has, and I'm assuming she meant from a leadership standpoint too. What was that conversation like? And what is she doing particularly lately? Is it mental? How is she hitting her stride so much? And what in particular has impressed you as of late with her?
Well, just the way that she talks to the younger kids and the less experienced kids and gets them through tough moments. The tactical thing was that she brought up was that, coming off her injury and how we're playing, she wasn't able to get down to those corner spots like she has in the past. She couldn't get there as quickly. So she said, hey, what do you think about moving me to the inbounder? And that's helped her become a better rebounder. Now she's hanging out around and getting a bunch of those tip balls. She is so good at anticipating and being in the right spot. She's never been the most, whenever you read the evaluations that all the evaluators give on her, not the most athletic kid in the world, but she's in the right spot. Now, unathletic kids don't get 8 rebounds against Tennessee. So she was in the right spot. This allowed her to enter the ball, come down late in transition, get into some different spots on the floor where we can find her to score. But I just think that her maturity to be able to come to us and say, hey, I can't get down there anymore. It's just, that's the case. I'm a 6-year senior. I can't get there. What do you think about this? And then, with, Coach Todd on the offense and the way we've been rotating, hey, let's try it. And it's worked out great. It's gotten Sasha out in a more natural position to be able to run the floor and stretch the floor. Sasha was amazing tonight with that. So I think it was a combination of Amber's maturity, our willingness as coaches to listen to our players rather than be dismissive and say, oh, we're the coaches, you don't know what you're talking about, just play the role. Instead it was, hey, you know what, that's a great idea. So proud that she does that, and proud that we as a staff and a program listen to our players and make adjustments like that. And yeah, wrap it up there.
Jersey defensively tonight, what impressed you with her?
How much she improved from game 1 to 2. That first game, it was a lot of technique issues. And this time her technique was impeccable. She followed the scout. I thought offensively at times she looked as aggressive as she has all year. And again, missing a couple of those shots I know is going to carry weight. She's over there on the side, just being so positive. 2-3 years down the road, we're going to look back and remember these nights as nights that they grew up a lot. She was unbelievable defensively, and with her toughness and attention to the scouting report and picking us up when Mac went down.